Hi, I'm Alian, and I'm once again experimenting with microalgae. Today I am designing my next experiment. So just to recap, over the past couple weeks I've been trying to figure out what I want to do for my next project now that my wastewater project is done. And what I decided on is figuring out how to optimize bioreactors, which are the tanks that are used to grow algae. And essentially what I'm trying to do is figure out ways we can make bioreactors more efficient so they can be used for a whole range of algae applications. Now just this week, I got an amazing message from Cameron, the founder and CEO of Pioreactor. Pioreactor is this company that makes these tiny bioreactors connected to Raspberry Pis, and they're really awesome for experimentation because they let you test things on a really small scale before you scale them up. And Cameron messaged me and asked me pretty much out of the blue if I wanted a free bioreactor that he was going to send me. So I'm going to be getting a bioreactor from the company itself so that I can test my own ideas with algae-based photobioreactors. So that's going to be super awesome. What's awesome about the bioreactor, and I mentioned this earlier, is that the bioreactor is small scale. It's only about 20 milliliters of algae at any given time. And that means that I can run experiments really quickly on about a week's time scale. And that's super useful because over the next few weeks, I hope to run a whole bunch of different experiments relating to how we can optimize bioreactors. But I'm going to start off simple and focus on light intensity. So I was reading up on the Pioreactor's documentation, and there they have a bunch of recommended experiments, but they only have one with algae. But I'm going to start off with that one. It's relating to how we can set up day and night cycles in the bioreactor. So the bioreactor being this small tank, you can attach LEDs to it to make it a photobioreactor, or a photopioreactor, if you will. And with the programs of the Raspberry Pi, you can control when those lights turn on and off. And using that, you can simulate the day and the night. So essentially in this experiment, you turn on the LEDs for 16 hours at a time, and then turn them off for 8 hours. So it's a 16-hour day and an 8-hour night. And what that's supposed to do is it affects the biology of the microalgae. Because microalgae tend to grow much faster when they have light available, when they're able to do photosynthesis. And then at night, when there's less light, in the natural world even, they slow down, they stop doing photosynthesis, but they start accumulating biomass. They gain more mass. And that means that the growth rate of the algae will fluctuate over time and create this really interesting, jerky kind of graph that I'll show on screen. So the goal of my first trial experiment with the bioreactor will be just to test out those day and night cycles and see if I can get a similar looking curve for the growth rate of the algae. Now the really cool thing about the bioreactor is all the different things you can measure with it. Because my bioreactors right now are larger scale, and that means I can't measure a lot about them. I can measure the dry weight biomass of the algae sometimes, I can measure the light intensity, I can measure how much air is going through it. But that's pretty much it. With the bioreactor, I can do a whole lot more. I can control the temperature and measure that. I can control the types of lights, the light intensity, and like I mentioned, how often the lights are on and make a day and night cycle. I can measure the growth rate of the algae using a method called optical density measurement. And I can measure how much air is going in, how fast it's being stirred. There's all kinds of really cool parameters that not only can I control, but measure. And later on, hopefully, when I'm done with the light experiment, I'm going to be able to play around with all these different things like temperature and stir rate that will reveal how we can optimize the bioreactors the best. So there you go. That's what I have planned for my next experiment. I'm super thankful to Cameron and everyone at Pioreactor for offering to send me a free bioreactor. And I'll be getting that over the next couple weeks where I'm going to be able to start my experiment. But now that I have an experiment plan, my next step is just going to be getting the materials together other than the bioreactor, getting my algae grown and everything, so that when I get the bioreactor, I can start experimenting right away. And I'll be continuing to document all of this on my vlog, so subscribe down below, follow on LinkedIn, and I will see you in the next one.